Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. And
Hi,
Renee,
Teoni.
thanks. Hello. Hi. Renee, thanks for jumping on. I know this is your work from home day today, as part of your flexible work arrangement. So I really appreciate you making the time. So as part of our ongoing commitment to providing accessible cinema experiences for all of our customers, Event Cinema is implementing a best practice guide for accessible cinema technology. So this best practice guide has been developed to enhance our existing procedures related to the storage and maintenance of the accessible cinema technology and increase our team's confidence in assisting our customers with hearing or vision impairments. And today I'm going to walk you through the accessible cinema technology best practice guide. This is part of a trial rollout ahead of national implementation, and it's designed to support and a consistent, confident, and inclusive customer experience. So, does that context and intent make sense before we go further?
Yeah, absolutely. Framing it around accessibility and confidence makes the purpose really clear.
Yeah,
Great.
it really also helps position it as an enhancement, not just a change for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think from a technical perspective, consistency will really help. Yeah.
Great. Agreed. Yes. So, let's just frame out the guide while we're here. So this is a simple and easy to follow resource. It's designed to support team members, not overwhelm them. We're not brain surgeons. So the guide, it brings together, existing expectations, provides clear best practice examples, and is supported by an SOP like posters, talking notes, registers, and on-the-job coaching, most importantly. Teams aren't expected to remember everything, but they're expected to use the resource that we provide them. Any questions before we go further?
No, all good from me.
No, all clear. Thanks, Teoni.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Great. So how do we communicate the matters? Well, before we really get started, there's one other really important point that I want to call out, and it's how we communicate this guide, not just what's in it. When we roll this out, we need to do this in a way that is respectful, inclusive, and mindful that the team learn and understand information differently. Some team members will be confident straight away, as you know. Others may need time, some repetition, or hands-on coaching, and that's fine, completely okay. The expectation is the questions are welcomed, feedback is received openly, and no one feels uncomfortable asking for help. We need to be clear with our expectations. When expectations aren't clear or support isn't consistent, it can lead to the technology not being available or operational when needed, team members avoiding assisting customers because they feel unsure, customers with accessibility requirements receiving an inconsistent or lesser experience. It's not what we want. That's why we clarify that consistent and confident, and it's so important in this rollout. As leaders, it's not just about importantly just delivering the message. It's about creating a safe, supportive work environment for the teams to use it. And I want the next outline who is responsible for what, during this rollout, because clarity here is really critical. It's the same clarity that you'll expect to provide to your teams. And my role as the area general manager is to communicate the ACT best practice guide to all, ensure, our leaders are aligned before cascading the information to your teams. And I'll set the expectation that feedback is encouraged, received warmly, and considered openly. Any questions about my role in the process?
No, that accountability is really clear.
Thank you. And Renee, as General Manager, you're accountable for ensuring the guide is rolled out effectively at your location. So this will include communicating with the guide to duty managers, ensuring relevant team members are briefed, trained and supported, reinforcing that accessibility matters and that at EVT everyone belongs, encouraging and receiving feedback openly, ensuring acknowledgements of the understanding are completed after training, very important. And this will be done through both verbal briefings and written follow-up. How does that land for you?
Yeah, that's really clear. And, the key for me will be reinforcing it through coaching, being out there, on the front line with the team and not just sending through the information.
Exactly. So leadership presence will make, the most difference here. Jess, so your role is focused on frontline execution. You're responsible for communicating information to supervisors and team members, supporting supervisors with shift briefings and coaching, ensuring briefings happen consistently, especially early on, observing how the guide lands on the floor and feedback themes and feedback in motion. What do you think teams will need the most support with initially?
I think they're going to need the most support with their confidence in explaining the devices and knowing they've selected exactly the right one on customer request.
Perfect. That's exactly what the guide and posters are designed to support. So, Prakash, your role underpins the success of this rollout, actually. You're responsible for supporting the GM with implementation, ensuring correct storage and ongoing maintenance, supporting the assistant managers as the information is cascaded, and also providing guidance on charging the FIFA of the batteries, first in, first out, and the escalation. What's the key message you'd want your teams to remember?
I think it'll be around early escalation. So, if the team spots something that isn't right or isn't working as it should, really raising it early so that we can get on top of it and it doesn't impact, multiple customers.
Great. Completely agree. So let's move to the guide itself. So please refer to your email that I sent you with a copy of the guide and follow along with me. Some of you might like to have it printed to make your written notes, or you might just prefer to follow on your screen. Either is fine. So let's start with section 1, setup and storage. The core principle here is to centralize accessible storage. So devices should be stored back of house and wall mounted and in a central location close to a power source, accessible without a junior manager present. This ensures customers requesting accessibility technology are supported promptly and confidently. Renee, does your current setup align with this?
Yeah, look, we'll need to relocate some devices out of projection, but it's manageable and it makes sense.
Thank you. Yep. So we'll just move to the batteries and charging of it. So this section also covers battery storage, disposable, the charging protocol poster and the FIFO principle. So first in, first out, as you all know, ensuring devices are issued with maximum charge. It speaks to the batteries that are required as well as links to where you can purchase these.
Yeah, and I think FIFA will also help protect the battery life. So yeah, that's an important part that's been included in the guide. That's great.
Yeah. All right, great. Moving on to section 2. So this is the overview. So section 2 covers the equipment station poster, reinforcing service standards. Section 3 is the Act by Cinema number matrix, showing which cinemas support which technology. And section 4 is a device register supporting accountability without retaining customer identification. Makes sense? So we'll just go through the supporting materials. So the teams should be fully supported. They are fully supported. They'll have access to a number of resources to support. This includes some of what we've already mentioned, but a reminder: ACT Best Practice Guide, ACT SOP with acknowledgement and understanding, talking notes to deliver the message to our teams across all levels of the business, posters for the equipment station, charging protocol, cinema matrix, a device register, charging and battery protocols. They'll also have on-the-job coaching, cinema technician support, feedback channels, including SurveyMonkey, which will use feedback to make tweaks prior to the wider rollout. This will not just be a tick and flick rollout, most importantly. So to recap, the guide supports accessible cinema experience to all customers. It's a simple, practical resource. Roles and accountability are clearly defined, but please let me know if you'd like any clarification. Our teams will be supported with tools, training and coaching, and this is designed to make their job easier at the end of the day. Feedback is encouraged and will shape national rollout. You know, if teams pause, check a resource, and ask a question, that's success. So if there's no other questions, let me just talk to you about, you know, actually, does anyone have any questions? Sorry.
No, I think that's all pretty clear.
Great.
Thanks, Jenny.
Well, thanks everyone. The engagement and discussion today it's really been great. So I also appreciate that we've covered a lot of information actually today, and there's a lot to digest. I'll share the supporting resources shortly by email, and I'll give you some time to review the guide and the resources, and then I'll set up a following call next week. We'll do a final check-in prior to going live, you know, at your site with this. If in doubt, check the guide, pause and ask. I'm here to help. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks so
Great,
much.
thank
See you
you.
later.
Thanks
See
a
you
lot.
later.
Bye.
See you.